Okay, hello you cheeky monkeys. So the more observant of you will notice that something isn't quite right. Something's missing. No, it's not my bollocks. So Geraldine, my bike, has lost something. Basically, yeah, if I look down you'll probably be able to see it. One of the wing mirrors has gone. Why has your wing mirror gone? Well, as you happen to ask, I'll tell you. I had a little accident. It wasn't anything serious, fortunately. It was very slow motion, slow speed, and pretty slow motion as well. I was doing a U-turn, a bit of a hasty one because I'd missed a turning that I was meant to go down. And then I basically, midway through the U-turn, on an average sort of road, probably slightly less than average if I'm honest, got to the point of the U-turn where I usually, just open the gas up, drop the clutch a bit, and fly off into the horizon. I hadn't gone down into first gear as I thought I'd done. So instead of flying off into the horizon, I flew into the concrete. It basically stalled, and if you ride the bike's already over at an angle, if you're not expecting it, I got my foot down, but it was just too little too late, and I gracefully somersaulted backwards and had a little lay down in the middle of the road. I was tired, so it wasn't entirely unwelcome. But yes, that explains why Geraldine's new look. That mirror I can't even see anything out of. It is partially on video, not by myself, but a young chap called the Grom Monkey happened to be riding behind. In fact, it is entirely his fault, if I'm honest. I don't know if he'll watch this, but it is entirely his fault. Basically, I didn't know where he was going. I missed the turning that apparently we had to take. He told me, we had the intercom on, we was talking. So that's why I decided to suddenly do the U-turn in the first place. And that's what sent me career into the ground. It's not really his fault, it's entirely mine. A characteristic of this bike, and others, I know one of the bikes I trained on did the same thing, where you press to go down a gear, put the clutch in, tap the clean to go down a gear, and it doesn't always do it. I know this doesn't do it, so it's not an excuse. You just have to release the clutch out a bit, let it engage, pull it in again, and 9 times out of 10, second time it will go down gear properly. And you can feel it when it doesn't go down gear properly in your foot. But I basically rushed. So I just tapped down a couple of times, and I don't even think I was in second, I think I was in third. And the third gear, whilst doing slow speed manoeuvres, on this bike at least, it's not a good idea. Yeah, go to pull away, bang, dead. Up, you're leaning over, up, you're on the ground. But yeah, so there is a video of that. I will put a link to it in the description if I remember, so you can all have a bit of a laugh. He doesn't actually catch me falling over. He's sort of looking at me. He takes a turn I should have gone up whilst I'm in the middle of performing a manoeuvre, and then at some point he hears me utter a few swear words, or something like that, I don't know what it was, as I'm sort of hurtling to the ground, and then he turns around and looks, and I'm just sort of laying there, which actually makes it a bit funnier than if I'd have actually seen me actually fall down. But yeah, so yeah, that's the wing mirror explained. I ordered a new one, so this happened a couple of weeks ago, well nearly 3 weeks ago now. I ordered a new one with the delightful eBay, and surprise surprise, it didn't turn up. So I left it 2 weeks from the date of posting, and still nothing. So I got in touch with the guy who's issued a refund, so he was alright. I'm not a big eBay user, I don't get the whole, if stuff doesn't turn up, what happens, who's liable and all that shit. I mean, it's only 15 quid, but yeah, anyway, so whereas Amazon, I've used a lot, and I sort of know if I buy something and it doesn't turn up, I'll get my money back. It's happened a few times. eBay website was a little unclear on it. But it says it's guaranteed, but then when I tried to report it not turned up, I had to go to a PayPal, and the transaction wasn't showing up on PayPal, and I got rather confused. But yeah, the guys actually issued the refund, so no problem. So I ordered another one to make her full again, to make her complete. Okay, apart from that, what other news have I got? Ah, yes, so if you're one of the 1.5 people who watched my last video, I talked about getting a new bike, and I went to look at one, and I sat on it and didn't like it. I'm a raging hypocrite wanker, because I then went and bought it. Basically, so I spent a lot of time staring over it, dreaming. Oh, I can't even see out that mirror, I don't know why I keep looking. Dreaming about the bike, you know, thinking about it, looking at it on eBay. It stayed there, and I then went and bought it. Kind of not spare at the moment, because I'd been thinking about it for a while, but the actual purchase was like, sod it, I'm going to drive 45 miles into central London, which is where I bought it from. Not even outer London, proper central London. and I bought it. Didn't test ride it. It's been started up, and I sort of had a good look around it. But yeah, didn't test ride it, bought it. You know, my opinion is it comes with a warranty. I'm not an expert. I could take a bike for an hour's ride. You know, you get a bit of a feel for it, but I don't think it's as valuable as some people make out. Because I probably wouldn't have bought this bike that I bought. As you can tell, I've not actually told you what it is, if I'd have taken it for a test ride. So I'd sat on it, and again, yeah, so the position wasn't great. But part of what I did between the time I sat on it and then bought it was research what can be done to adjust that. So it's basically a bit, in fact, a lot more sporty than young Geraldine here. And the seat was a bit higher. But I sort of, I went home, researched it a bit, and found a few little mods. One in particular was relatively cheap, which I've done to make it just a little bit more suitable for me. And yeah, so I have a new bike. So your question may be, why the fuck are you not riding this bike? That's a very good question. I think I should ride it. And we're back. Oh my god, what's happened? What the fuck? How gay is that? I'm going to stop being a prick now. Interesting to see how that comes out. I don't think I'm going to be getting any calls from Disney anytime soon regarding the future Star Wars chaps. Strange dog in place. Yes, this is my new bike. You will notice it comes prepared with 2 wing mirrors, and they're so far apart I can see what the fuck I'm doing. Well, not what I'm doing, more what's going on behind me, which I have had massive difficulty with almost every bike that I've ever owned. Just edited a load of shit out because it was crap. I will a little walk around video out of this very soon. In fact, I might actually go and film it right now. So I'm not going to go into too many details, but if you don't know, it's a Honda VFR 800, a 2009, in the delightful red. Right, cheers guys, bye.